Hi and welcome back. So we just created our first ad with this new e-commerce strategy. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is move on to the second step of this strategy, which is where we'll create the 2 additional ad sets. All right, let's dive in. All right, so here we are in our ads manager. Now, if we go back to the template, we know that we already went through the first phase, right? So if you go to the second page of this template that you should have, it's going to look like this, right? So now it's time for us to create the additional ad set. So we want to make sure that we have 3. We want to have one with broad interest plus engaged shoppers. Check, well done. We want to have a second one with tangent keywords plus engaged shoppers. And then we want to have a third one that is targeting website plus engaged shoppers. Now, we have some examples here from mobile lens. So tangent keywords are going to be those that are going to be search terms, what people usually search for when they're looking for something. Now, if you want to buy, for example, bohemian earrings, you're probably not going to search for boho chic, for example. That is a broad term that we're targeting in the first one. For tangent keywords, it might be something like bohemian earrings or vintage earrings or something like that. And for the third website, it's going to be certain brands that we're going to be targeting. All right, so let's dive right in. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna move on to ad sets right here, and then we have our first ad set. We are gonna click on duplicate right here, and then we are gonna keep it on original campaign because we're still using the same product, so we're gonna keep it in the same campaign. Go down, and here where it says number of copies of each ad set, we're gonna move that to 2, just like that. And here where it says shows existing reactions, comment, and shares on new ads, we're just gonna keep this checked in. Now, in most cases, you're not gonna have time to get any results at this point, so it doesn't really matter, but just keep it checked. So make sure you have 2 and then click on duplicate. So here we are. Right now, you notice this interface is looking a little different from what we were used to before. That's because this is the quick creation interface. So it's a little different, and to the left here, we are going to see a hierarchy with all the different levels of the ad. So here we have the campaign, right? And here we have the ad set, and here are all the ad designs. So we created 2 new ad sets. And that's going to be ad set number 1 that said broad interest copy, and this one that also said ad set 1 broad interest copy. Now, the first thing we're going to do is know that we're only going to change these 2. Now, the colored ones are the ones that are new. We're not going to touch the ads at all, but we're going to touch these 2 ad sets. Down below here, we have the original. We don't need to worry about them at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this ad set number 1, and I'm going to change its name. So this one is called ad set 1 broad interest. Now, if we go to the template, we know that it's going to be tangent keywords plus engaged shoppers. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to change this name, and I'm going to change it to ad set 2 tangent keywords. There we go. And then there's nothing that I need to worry about whatsoever in here. Everything is a complete copy of the previous one. Remember, there's only one thing that we are going to change, and that is scrolling down, fixing the detailed targeting. So now here we are going to target for tangent keywords instead. The only thing we're keeping are the engaged shoppers. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove earring. There we go. And I'm going to remove boho chic. Now, before I remove boho chic, I want to show you how you can use the suggestions in a useful way. So let's say that you don't know what people potentially are searching for. You could go to Google and you could, of course, search for boho and bohemian and hippie, etc., and see what people are actually typing in and then trying that out here. But what you can also do is that you can click on suggestions, just like this, and then you can scroll down and you can see if there's something in here that you think is going to fit. Now, vintage clothing, for example, is probably going to be one of those good hits because you know that people who are interested in vintage and vintage clothing, they are going to be interested in vintage fashion. So that could be a really good thing to target. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is that I'm going to add in vintage clothing, just like that. And then I'm going to remove boho chic. And then we're going to see what we end up in right here. And we can see that we're ending up at 3.4 million people, right? Now, that's too much. We want to still be in the sweet spot between 100,000 and 1 million. So I'm going to narrow this further. Now, we already have a narrow one here from what we just deleted. So I'm going to write in something like bohemian and see, okay, so we have bohemian, and we have bohemian style. So what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna go for bohemian style because that goes much better hand in hand with the earrings we're trying to sell, right? So I'm gonna click in bohemian style. There we go. And now we can see that we're targeting 290,000 people. So that is going to be good for our targeting. Now, we're also getting this warning, ad set may get 0 purchases. So basically, based on what we have set up, they're saying that, hey, we don't have any data, so we can't guarantee any results. Well, all of these estimated daily results here, they are nothing but estimates based on the data they get from you and based on their previous data. These are extremely inaccurate, and I do not recommend that you follow these at all. Now, what they're asking you is use a landing page views as your optimization for ad delivery instead. Well, of course, because then you're gonna spend more because you want people to buy, but you're gonna get people on your landing page instead. So this is one of those Facebook traps where they just want you to spend more money. Now, we're gonna stick with this because when you go for purchase, they are gonna optimize for the purchase happy people. Over time, people are going to be buying from you. Pixel gets information, sends that information to Facebook, which gets more and more and more and more effective. So don't worry if you get this warning, we're still gonna stick to the same tactic that we have here. Now, they're just asking you to use another strategy, which in the end is gonna make you spend more money, or they're just gonna ask you to increase the budget. We don't need to do any of it. So don't worry about these warnings, all right? These are highly inaccurate measures. So I'm very happy about this, right? We have 290,000 people. This is really good. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do next is that I'm gonna move on to the next ad set. I'm gonna click there, and now I'm gonna set this one up, right? So I'm gonna scroll to the top and I'm gonna change this ad set. So this ad set is going to be called, let's see, websites. So I'm gonna call this ad set 3, and then we're gonna write, let's see, websites. There we go. Now, same thing, there's nothing we need to change. Remember, we set the placements, it's on mobile only, it is on the Facebook feed. Everything is already set up. The only thing we need to change are these ones. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna remove earring and I'm going to remove boho chick. We already looked at how we can use suggestions to our advantage. Now I wanna show you how you can also use Google to your advantage to find where and which to target. So with websites, we are looking at people who are going to this website and these specific brands to shop for the products they're looking for. So of course, we're looking for product market fit here. We have our product and there's going to be an audience interested in that product. The question is, this audience, what kind of websites do they buy in to understand that they are interested in these kind of products? Well, to understand that, one of the ways that we can find out is by using Google. So if we go ahead and go to Google, and we search for something like bohemian jewelry. There we go. So we're gonna find that, okay, we're gonna get a lot of information about this as always and pictures, but scrolling down, what kind of shop or brand are going to be selling this kind of product? Because there we're going to find the audience that are going to want to buy this product, right? So the first thing we're getting here is bohemian jewelry, Etsy. Okay, this is interesting. So we know bohemian jewelry, Etsy. So Etsy seems to have a jewelry section. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is that I'm gonna move back here and I'm going to search for Etsy. Here we go. I know Etsy from before. If you don't know who Etsy are, of course, you can click in on them and then explore what kind of website is this, what are they doing, what are they selling. And this is one of those sites that are selling tons of stuff that has independent sellers that you can buy from. I think Etsy is decently similar to eBay, but here you're gonna find people who are very clearly interested in bohemian jewelry. All right, so going back, we're searching for Etsy, and I don't even need to type jewelry. We can see that there is an Etsy jewelry here that has 393,000 people. So I'm gonna hit that for targeting, and then we can see, okay, this is just a tad too narrow, right? Because now we're targeting less than 1,000 people. So instead, we're gonna go ahead and target Etsy. Let's see. Oh, we're not going to target the work. We want to make sure we're targeting the interest, but also understand that Etsy is very, very broad, right? It's like targeting eBay or targeting Amazon. We're basically targeting no one, but we know that the audience we're looking for, they are on Etsy. So we have Etsy, we have engaged shoppers, and right now we have 15 million people. So now we want to start digging down further. So now we have our website on the top, and this is where we start going down into things such as, well, let's search for bohemian, and then we're gonna go for, let's just search for bohemian this time. And now we have 75,000 people. That's just too little. So let's try Bohemian Style once again and see where we end up. And now we're getting 740,000 people, and this is a pretty good match. So I'm gonna go with Etsy, Engaged Shoppers, and Bohemian Style. And we used Bohemian Styles before too, but that is completely okay. Remember, it's just the first one that needs to follow the theme here. The first one needs to be a broad interest, and in the second ad set, it needs to be a tangent keyword, and in the third, it should be a website. All right? So I'm very happy about this targeting, and right now there's nothing more that I need to do than go down and click on publish. I know my head is in the way, but it says publish in the lower right corner. So I'm gonna hit publish, and that is going to publish both of the ad sets that we have created, and it's also going to publish all of the ads that comes with them. So once it's published, we go up to the upper left corner and click on expand and collapse side panel. And now in the ad sets, we see that we have 3 ad sets. We have the number 1 broad interest, we have number 2 tangent keywords, and number 3 website. So we are all set, right? We've all set with the ad sets. We created these 3. They are diversified. So we are targeting an audience from different angles, finding different audiences, all with the same interest, but using different targetings. Now, of course, we don't know which one of these are going to be successful, if any one of these are going to be successful. But the only way to find out is to do our targeting, publish them, and then look at the data. So once you're done with this, before publishing them, go to the upper right corner here where it says review and publish, click on them, and then check these out, then hit publish, and you will have published them. All right? And that means you're ready for the next step in this e-commerce strategy. So see you in the next lecture.